This is Ace at the Plate on WCWPSports.org.
Welcome back, baseball fans, to another wonderful week at Ace at the Plate. I am your co-host, Doug Horowitz.
And I'm your host, Ace, and Doug wants to analyze some of the series that's been going on. So go ahead, Doug.
Yeah, we've been having an interesting week. So as it comes down to the World Series, I gotta say, everyone's been watching with very, very huge amounts of enthusiasm. We'll get to the numbers later on because this World Series has been one of the highest viewed so far. Beyond that, we've got a lot of Mets news, some trade rumors, maybe some ideas that we've got rattling around in our heads. And beyond that, we've got A-Rod maybe. We've got to talk about the whole entire league. We got to talk about bias in the media, which I know everyone is already used to due to this election. Yeah. But when it comes to baseball, it's even more profound. But first and foremost, let's get down to the analysis of how this World Series has been rocking so far. So, we should probably maybe get to about, where have these Cubs bats gone? This is the one big, huge story of this whole entire year. The regular season and the postseason. Talking about this Cubbies team has been the most phenomenal, most courageous team that you'll see on the field since the 1927 Yankees. But where the hell have these bats gone? We've got 10 total runs in 5 games so far. And this has been one of the teams that was supposed to have the most prodigious amount of runs in history here. And I'm coming up with an answer here. I mean, I'm trying to find some things out there. I'm grasping at straws, but I'm lost in the fold right now. I mean, maybe we can look at the other side of the coin because, as we know, each coin has 2 different sides, a heads and a tail. And here, we got the heads up of the Cleveland Indians right now, the Tribe. The Tribe, as our man Ace has already called it, winning it in 6 games this year. Yep. But when it comes to the Tribe, we've been able to see some dominant forces of pitching. And it's not exactly like they've got these huge names when it starts to their starting pitching. I mean, Corey Kluber, this guy is making himself turn into the next Mad Bump when it comes to postseason history. But beyond that, we're looking at guys like Trevor Bauer, Josh Tomlin, Josh freaking Tomlin over here, who's won 2 games already. And, we're looking at this whole entire rotation. We're wondering, how the hell are they doing this? Well, in one perspective, I got to say it's the whole entire idea of the breaking ball. It's been broken down on Fangraphs that actually this whole entire postseason series that the Cubs have been facing the breaking ball 35% of the time compared to the regular season when they were averaging about 24% of the time. That averages out to about 15 extra pitches per game of breaking balls. And that breaking balls were including actually as sliders and also as curveballs. And it's really telltale because in last night's game specifically, we were able to see as Trevor Bauer, who, when you look at him pitch, you think this kid has the nastiest stuff. You think that he could be a perennial Cy Young winner. But there's just something that doesn't click. He's got the velocity. He's got the movement. But I don't even know what the hell's going on upstairs in his head to be able to make these judgments. But anyways, getting back to last night's game, he was on cruise control. 3 innings, 5 strikeouts, I think 2 hits. And then you get to the 4th inning, heart of the batting order. For some reason, I don't know if it's the intimidation factor or they still inexperienced enough that the kids started throwing fastballs, trying to challenge the hitters. And you know what happens next? Boom, Cubbies go on up, 3-0. And it's really telltale to show you that maybe the Cubs have really got a curveball crisis going on right now. And it's been the story of this whole entire series that top to bottom, the 23rd to the 25th man on that Indians roster has been able to get on base, get a hit. Even Rajai Davis last night, who's been a batting average of 1-1-1. Pathetic this whole entire postseason. But yet, he steals 3 bases last night. He makes some mental errors on the base, not him, against the pitcher. So it makes a huge world of difference. But on the opposite side, you've got these Cubbies. And you know what? I think we're getting a gleeful smile out of Ace over here, knowing that these Cubbies have not been performing up to standards. So, this is just getting to the tip of the iceberg. But what's your thoughts on the series so far, Ace?
It's going well for me because the Cubbies have been not great, as you've been. The bats have been quiet, similar to how they were earlier in the postseason with the NLDS, I think, or it was the NLCS. They were having some trouble with the bats. And you know what, though? They're now in the World Series, and the Cubs fans are hyped. The media has been hyped. And they've gone cold again. That's just simple of what it is. The bats have gotten cold, and now Cleveland has been taking advantage of it. And listen, for me, this Cubs team, they're a great team, right? I mean, obviously, they won so many games. I think it was 103 or 106 games. They won a lot of games. They deserve to be in the postseason, of course. And, they got swept in the NLCS last year, but they got to the postseason last year. People are treating these teams like the murderers row Yankees. I mean, this is just obscene, absurd. They have not proven a damn thing yet. All right, I guess they have proved something. They proved that they could get to the postseason and the NLCS 2 years
Yeah,
in a row.
they proved that they're the best team during the regular season.
But I'll tell you this. They haven't stepped it up to the plate in the postseason. And what I mean by that is winning the whole thing. And they haven't done it in 108 years. I know that only one team could do it each year. But at the end of the day, I mean, these guys, the MLB, they talk about these guys like they've won so many championships already. It makes me sick. I read the analysis after the games. And I watch during the games, and I go, is this a Cubs home broadcast? Like, is this? I mean, the bias is unreal because listen, Cleveland's just not the Cubs. I mean, I get it, right? You want to break the curse. It's a great marketing tool, and we'll talk about the ratings soon. But it just feels like unfairly, and maybe this is how I felt last year, that one team is just always thrown to the side, like. People are just not rooting for them, it seems like. And let me tell you though, on social media, the Indians have been present along with the Cubs fans. But to me, when the media picks a side, I usually go on the other side because I just don't like the Joe Buck, everything like that. And let me tell you about the ratings. The ratings have been, Game 5 beat out Sunday Night Football. I mean, that's the ratings we're talking about by 33%. By that much.
That's true. No,
that's a lot. And I told you last week before you came in because of a little bit of traffic. But I was telling them I predict that this is going to be one of the highest rated World Series in modern times, and it's the highest rated World Series in like the last 9 or 7 years. So I mean, this shows. And it was popping last night. I was hoping Cleveland would end it, but they didn't. But you know what? They're gonna end it. When do they play? Tomorrow, right?
Yep,
yeah.
Tuesday.
Yep, they're gonna end it tomorrow, and it's gonna be my prediction, right? Indians gonna win it in 6. I just find it so interesting that it beat out Sunday Night Football. That's something I didn't expect.
This series has been supercharged. I mean, at this point, compared to football, which has been lagging behind, it's just all the calls,
we've been
the stop
talking
and,
about
the
it.
stop
We've been
and go
talking
of the
about
game of football. Everyone's just like, I want to see a little bit more highbrow action, and that's exactly what you get with this series. This baseball series is something of beauty.
This is Sunday night, right? I mean, wasn't Sunday Night Football? Is that not like prime time? Don't those games?
That's prime time. It's before that. You get usually like the HBO series and stuff like that, creating like some type of.
That stuff like. But correct me if I'm wrong, but like, let's just say even as close as a year ago, that thing would be crazy high. But
they probably would have double the viewership.
Of the World Series last year, but this year, that's why I said. The Cubs and Indians both are hunger-starved fan bases. And I think that's what happens when you have a fan base because last year it was one of the highest-rated World Series. But guess what? The Cubs and the Indians have longer droughts than the Cleveland and New York. And New York has a huge fan base. And again, later we'll still be talking about New York. Don't worry because there's a lot of stuff. But I think it's just great for baseball to see these two teams that are not usually in the mix in there. As much as I don't like the Cubs, as much as I wear my replica NLCS ring with pride that we swept them 4-0, baby.
4-0.
It's great that they're in the World Series. It's great. It's just great for viewership. It's great. And the curse will live on. Okay.
Oh yeah, if this curse, I wouldn't mind seeing one curse end in Cleveland, but keeping these Cubbies fan, I don't know, it just makes us a Mets fan knowing that someone else is more miserable out there than you.
I was explaining this, and I can't remember the player's name because I don't know the Cubs roster or whatever. It wasn't like a famous dude. He wasn't like
no, I know exactly what you're talking about because there's been memes going about how Joe Buck has been waxing on poetically about his man Kyle Schwarber coming back. Comparing him to Babe Ruth and saying that this guy has Herculean strength. You should see these pictures that they have of him. It's basically Schwarber carrying him in a wedding gown, like having like Joe Buck there because the guy seriously just wants to marry him. He just talks about how great this guy is. That's all it is.
Listen, it just makes me resent the Cubs as a team. Maybe it's not them, but just the media portrays them. And listen, they could be like, you could have there could be a favorite. I'm not saying there can't be a favorite, but it's almost like, man, I am just. This is a media, right? It's not like an average fan where, I'm rooting for the Cubs or, I'm rooting for the Indians. Like, this is a national broadcast. This is one broadcast. Like, in my opinion, if you're going to have one of those national broadcasts, which everyone hates, But
Yeah.
if you're going to have one of those, then you got to have neutral people. Maybe you have one Cubs guy, one Indians guy. Maybe it shouldn't be Joe Buck every year.
Well, I think he's overcompensating right now because he actually grew up in St. Louis, a diehard Cardinals fan. Because that's why
what's going on
That's
right
why
now?
I thought like he used to be very anti-Mets. Like whenever you would hear him speak,
Yeah,
he was just
very
like very
anti-Mets.
loath to try to speak any positive word about the Mets. And I thought he'd do the same thing with the Cubs, but I guess it's like this media infatuation that you have with them.
No,
because
Fox
like
Sports is they've been all over. They're the worst offenders. It's them and MLB and then ESPN. They are all really bad offenders, but I mean, boy, Fox is the worst.
I mean, I guess it's the narrative of it all, because honestly, if you're constructing around viewership, it's just more of the great story of having this team that is older than the goddamn Ottoman Empire that would last won a World Series.
It's not happening.
And that, I mean, for them, it's also then you have like an infield that's all 24 years or younger of age. And when you have that combination together, for them, it creates a fantastic story. And you've got John Lackey and you've got John Lester, who used to be on the Red Sox, who helped end the last curse. And then you've got freaking Theo Epstein as their general manager. And it's Joe Madden, too, who everyone thinks is the coolest cat in all the game. So when you have that all together, it puts like the Cleveland Indians in the background, in the shadow. And also it's Cleveland. Don't forget about that. Is that Cleveland, which is scary. Like, I mean, if the Indians win, do we have to call them Titletown now? I mean, after this year with the Cavs and then with the Indians breaking out down the berries of the curse.
I'm going down for it. I'm down. You know what? Never been to Cleveland. Never, but you know what? I'm rooting for them. I hope that city goes wild.
I mean,
And,
I hate LeBron, but that's why I
listen,
want the Indians to
people-
win kind of now, just so it deadens his win. Like, so that when they have that 30 for 30 coming out, it's not like LeBron saved Cleveland. It's like that he
Yeah.
got the Indians together, that it was just a magical year.
Yeah, listen, LeBron's been at the stadium. He's been at
Yeah, but
what
he's
do you
just a
call it?
fair weather
Yeah, he's just a guy.
bandwagon fan.
Yeah,
like,
no,
he just
I
wants
know.
everyone to be like, wow,
know.
LeBron's here. We love LeBron.
I know, but it's just crazy when he's there
LeBron.
because like everyone just goes crazy that he's there, and it's like just wild.
Yeah, but they also don't have the star power too at Cleveland, because like when you look at a game like in Chicago, you've got like Bill Murray there, you've got John Cusack,
Oh
you've
my
got all these
gosh,
different people that are showing up
crazy.
that everyone like knows, and it's just very strange that this whole entire narrative is constructed around these two teams. And I guess it's that there's bigger names that's been known by the Cubs this whole entire year. They've been following them along, saying that this is the one year for them. I mean, the Cleveland Indians, I mean, you got Corey Kluber. Yes, that's a known name. But then when you look past that, you're like, what? Like Mike Napoli, I guess some people in Boston will remember him, and some people in Texas. I don't know. Carlos Santana, some people might know. Francisco Lindor is a name that people should definitely be goddamn knowing. And then, but Andrew Miller. When you got Corey Kluber, Andrew Miller, and Cody Allen all together, see, these are names that they should be probably making household damn names. I mean, they're 23-0 when all three of them pitch together in a goddamn game.
Here's the thing, right? And also, another thing, and this is, call me a crazy conspiracy theorist, and I'm really happy that he won it. But is it a coincidence that Granderson's from Chicago and he won the Roberto Clemente Award? I mean, he's a great guy. He deserved it. I'm so glad he won. But if he wasn't from Chicago, they wouldn't have picked him. That's how in
Really?
love. That's how in love MLB is in with Chicago. They are in bed with them. Again, Granderson, he should win it. Like he's one of the greatest guys ever. He has this great Thanksgiving charity. He does so many things for the community. God bless
Yeah,
him.
inner city
No
youths,
one
too.
more
The guy
in-
brings them all out.
No one more deserving than Curtis Granderson. But there's just no way he would have won it last year. I don't know who won it last year. I don't care. It's not even like it's a big thing like Roberto, like this is it or else I'm going to freaking cry or something. But he's from Chicago. I bet you. They look. Chicago, that's
Well,
it.
no, it's more of like just to bring to attention to such great work that he's doing.
Maybe I just hate Chicago that much.
I'm
that
starting to
you
feel
know,
the bias from inside here. I don't know.
I'm
Like,
just trying
you're trying to right the
counteract.
wrongs of the media because
Yeah.
their biance is so strong in
And
the
I
opposite
love
direction.
Curtis.
You got
I'm
to
so
show a little
glad
bias
Curtis
the other.
won it. I'm so glad. I'm not even trying to take away from it that he won it. I'm so happy he deserved it. And, I guess it's newsworthy. I guess it's a little Mets-worthy that he did win it. And that was really nice. He's, again, one of the greatest in the game. So it was just so great to see that he won. But, yeah, listen, this series has been crazy.
I mean, it's been great. I mean, everything they've been seeing. I mean, like the game before this one when it was 1-0, no, 2 games ago, Jesus, I've never seen a more exciting game of one-run baseball in my whole entire life. I mean, combined together, every inning seemed to have something going on for it. A crazy catch, crazy play. It's just like constantly the methodicism of these managers that like none of these starting pitchers are actually going deep into the game. That they're starting to actually go to the bullpen and be like, you know what, we need our best guy out there. Or even having a Aroldis Chapman finish up the last 8 outs of a game. When this guy has never been able to pitch more than 1 inning. I mean, in the beginning of his career, this guy was supposed to be one of the best starters in the game. He was supposed to be the next Thor, or before Thor became Thor. But then they decided it was more prevalent, more prudent to throw him into the back of the bullpen. And after seeing this, like, it's just incredible seeing how the game has changed from this one series. It's just disappointing too that like no one's been able to recognize the beauty and the mastery of Terry Francona and what he's been able to do during this whole entire American League run.
Yeah.
I mean, no one respects them. The Cleveland Indians get no respect. It's like Rodney Dangerfield.
Really
they get no
upsetting.
respect here.
That's why I'm very and I mean people know it. I don't like the Cubs. I make it evident. People go, how do you not like the Cubs? I haven't won 108 years ago. You know, it's like the media, the MLB, the Fox Sports. They're just making me hate the Cubs. They made me hate the Cubs, then the Cubs hate me. Then like the Cubs themselves. I mean, there was this one guy in the game one. It was definitely game one. The Cubs were down like 6-0, and then I think it was game one. I'm not 100%, but the Cubs were down 6-0. It was like the 8th inning or something. Guy hits what he thinks to be a home run. It's a foul ball. One of the biggest bat flips. Like, what a fail bat flip. It was an epic, total fail.
Like Javier Baez or something like that?
And you know what it was, though, also? Is that, like, okay, I'd understand it if this was, like, a game tire or even close. This is not even 6-1. This is a foul ball. And even if you would have got it out, it would have just been 6-1. So calm down, okay? I feel like the players are just listen, you could be hyped like that. I'm all about making baseball great again, but, bro, you're going to bat flip when you're down 6-0, you're a loser, all right? You're a loser, your team's a loser, and your team's been a loser for 108 frickin' years, you loser. And Joe Buck and Rob Manfred and all you guys could take a seat because your favorite team right now, loser, okay? And they may have tied the series, but they're not winning. What the hell is going on? We got to go to a commercial break, baby. So stick around. We're going to be talking about Mets, Yankees, all this other stuff, Cubs, Indians. Stay tuned.
You may already have high blood pressure. Relax and find out with the free blood pressure screening available the second Wednesday of every month at 12 noon in the Westbury Memorial Public Library. For more info, call 516-333-0176 or visit westburylibrary.org. The Community Calendar is a public service from your friends at 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
Looking for some informal stress relief and a relaxing way to get to know your neighbors? Try adult coloring. It's like coloring for kids, but harder to stay in the lines. It's on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. in the Port Washington Public Library. For more info, call 516-883-4400 or visit pwpl.org. The Community Calendar is a public service from your friends at 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
All right, so we're back again. I guess
some technical difficulties.
The thing wasn't fixed. I thought I put in a report a few days ago that this thing is going a little wacky, but I guess not. But I want to shift over a little bit because I hate the Cubs. So I want to shift over a little bit. There has been, first of all, speaking about the Cubs, I guess one more thing. I always look through the Daily News and New York Times. I always like to look at the sports section. You know, I don't read those newspapers. You know, I don't read that type of media. You know, I'm more online so I could fact check it because this is like sort of like with this election. It's a disgrace. Journalism has been it's dead. Okay,
yeah,
journalism.
It's dead now.
I think journalism's dead.
Clickbait. It's just about the amount of clicks you can get.
As a broadcasting major, as someone who's been following this election, journalism is dead. This is the worst journalism I've ever seen because it's not journalism. It's called
sensationalization right now.
No one fact checks. No one pushes on issues, and I know this is a
What do you mean
baseball
specifically,
show.
though? Wait, I just need to ask you first. If we're getting here, I need to ask specifics.
Well, I mean, like for instance, during the debates, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, during the debates, Trump would say something absolutely ridiculous. Like, for instance, when he said he didn't mock that reporter really quickly, he was like, wrong, I didn't mock that reporter. There's just nobody gets pushed on issues. But I mean, listen, I don't want to go into politics. This is a baseball show. But specifically, the media has just been manipulative and terrible. But
I mean,
anyway,
nothing's coming out about emails. Like, if you look at CNN, New York Times, like,
they just
rarely
announced,
ever,
though.
ever.
It's true, though.
No, there's been emails coming out for months, and they're just like,
It's
the
true,
third
though.
rail
It's
to
true,
touch that.
and that's part of it with the Clinton thing. And listen, she'll be the president. There's no doubt
Yeah.
in my mind she'll be the president. I mean, I don't want her as president, but I want her more than Trump to be president, if that makes sense. But anyway, to move on, all the headlines are about, and I saw this headline in the Daily News today, and you won't believe it, that the Cubs, it says, the Mets pitchers will be stomping on the Cubs for years to come. Excuse me? We're not getting to the playoffs. Did somebody...
Oh, I thought that was going to make you happy right there. I
No,
thought you were about to be like,
we're
yes,
not.
squash him.
I wish, dude. Like, who's putting codeine in their drink? I mean, here's the thing, right? We already got it today. That's why I want the World Series to end. So Cespedes could opt out. We lose him, and we get our thing going. And I have a theory. Okay, this is my thing.
Get your tinfoil hat on,
I really
people.
thought about this weekend. And no, I don't want this guy to be like a significant piece because he can't be that guy anymore. But you know him. Alex Emmanuel Rodriguez. Now, this thought just creeped into my head, and thinking about it is because I was watching the World Series coverage. He does a great job.
Oh, great job.
Great
They bring
job.
him into during the games and stuff
I'm
like
looking
that?
at him and I go,
Fantastic.
you could even see it. There's a record that he's close to breaking, or he's close to being, what is it, like 400 home runs or something? I
No,
don't know
he's
what
had
it
like
is.
696 or
No,
something
what
like
is
that. He
it,
might be in the
though?
700
He's
club
close
soon.
to something. And he's not done, guys. He's going to be back. We talked about it when he retired, or quote unquote, he didn't even say retired. That's also, like, he's not done. And there's two places where he lives, okay? He lives in New York, and he lives in Miami, right? His family lives in Miami. He probably still has a place in New York. He obviously loves New York. I mean, when you question him about New York, he talks about, the Yankees driving across the bridge in Harlem. Oh, my gosh. You hear this guy. I think the Mets should sign A-Rod on the cheap. And let me just back this up. I don't want him playing every day or something. But here's the thing. The Mets, without David Wright and stuff, because he's going to be there, but for how long? I mean, this guy grew up, Alex Rodriguez grew up a Mets fan. The guy, I think, in 2015, I know it's 2 years ago now, showed a lot of promise. And I think that if Joe Girardi actually ran him out there a little bit more, he could have gotten at least put on a good stretch. And I'm not saying this guy is going to be doing anything significant, but I'm saying he's a great, great clubhouse guy. And you know what? It would bring some more media attention in New York if A-Rod just comes and goes to the Mets. Plus,
yeah.
I think he could still do damage as a pinch hitter. I know that's like not really something, pinch hitter, that's really hard to do. Believe me, I think it's the hardest job to do in the majors. But I just feel like he has something left. And I feel like with David Wright and, this is the Mets. Someone's going to get hurt besides David Wright. A-Rod would have a good role on this team. And I really believe, I'm not saying that he's going to be Cespedes or something. I'm saying he's got something left, and I would milk that. And that sounded disgusting. But I think he's got something left in the tank. I really don't think he's done. And I know he's going to play baseball again. Mark my words, he's going to be in the major leagues again.
Oh, yeah.
I know it for sure.
Yeah. Oh, I would
I
stake
think
my
right
whole
now-
entire life's worth, which right now is at like $33. I think.
Again, with the whole Yankee thing, at that whole Yankee day, they're like, what is it like to retire or something? Like, he never addressed retiring. It was
Yeah,
all
he never
about-
said retire. He
what
said,
it
like,
was,
taking a step.
What it was last game as a Yankee. But it wasn't last
Shoot, you're
game.
like a lawyer here, man. You're looking at this. You look at the fine print. You're seeing what's coming out.
I
of
don't
it,
think he's
reading between
done.
the
I
lines.
really, even if you look at him, right? Even when you're looking at him, I know he's talking about baseball on Fox Sports, but I know he wants to be suiting up. I know he wants to play. I see it. He's got the fire in his eyes still.
Oh,
Okay?
when he talks about baseball, when we see him in these broadcasts,
It's almost
it's like
he's
a kid.
living vicariously through these. He's like,
Exactly.
man, if I was out
exactly. When he sees Javier Baez doing these things like these Cuban players on the field, freaking making these energetic plays and these smart wits, this guy is like a kid watching the game for the first time. But he has such a depth of knowledge that if you said any of this stuff 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you'd be like, you're freaking nuts, man. Get this guy right down to Bellevue and throw him away the key. Because what the hell? This A-Rod right here, it's like a rejuvenation of his whole career.
And he didn't even do that good last year, and they had to cut him out. That's how bad
Hey,
he did.
you know
But
what?
they
I think he'd do
stopped
better
playing
than
him.
Kadire.
But you know what? He stopped Girardi for like a month. It was like just sat him on the bench, no DH, no nothing. I feel like I know maybe A-Rod was tired. Maybe A-Rod was like, yo, just rest me. I'm on my I feel like what he's doing is resting, and then he's gonna make.
Oh, so he can make some splash noise. So he's like, give me
Yeah.
like a year just to
I
recover
think
like a
he's
little bit.
resting.
Because that's what happened actually when he had that freaking power surge 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Because
he
he had
rested.
the PED suspensions.
Took-
He was out
took-
for a little while, and he came back with a goddamn
2015
vengeance.
was an amazing year for A-Rod. Actually, it was amazing.
Yeah, I think
considering-
he got like 30-something home runs.
I mean,
like he was
that's-
back to prime A-Rod
It really
level.
was great, and I feel like he will, because here's the thing: if it's not going to be the Mets, it's going to be Miami, because Miami is like the Yankees Part 2. It really is.
Yeah.
They really sign everyone Yankee-like. I mean, Don
Don
Mattingly.
Mattingly.
I mean, Joe Girardi was their manager.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Good
Yeah.
call, man.
He actually didn't he win Manager of the Year with them? You know, I got
think so. I
I
think
got my
so.
smarts.
I think
Don't
they-
count me out of this broadcast, boy. Anyway, listen. I mean, well, first of all, I don't know if you know the backstory, but the Marlins owner is a huge Yankee
Loria?
fan. Yeah, he's a huge Yankee. Or growing up, he was a huge Yankee fan.
Yeah, he emulates the whole
so,
franchise.
So now he exactly he. Even to the point, not with the mustache thing, but he does other things with this. Because the Yankees have this no facial hair policy. They clean shaving if you're a Yankee. That's like their
Yeah.
tradition. I know I don't know exactly what it is, but I know I read an article like years ago. He does something similar, like of how Marlins players conduct them. Just it's a Yankee thing.
Yeah,
that he
it's
likes.
a Yankee tradition that he's just copied. Like no distinct flavor to that.
Again, I just feel like A-Rod is not. I would love to see A-Rod again.
Yeah.
I know, and listen, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer or something. Like I don't know. He brings some drama and some atmosphere to the game, and I think he's pretty exciting to watch. Like as a Mets player, as a Mets fan, he's still exciting to watch. Yeah, he's not on my team, or he was never on my team. He was almost a Met.
Yeah, he was.
And
yeah.
He was never a Met, and I feel like I can't picture him anywhere else, Mets or Marlins. I see it clearly, and nowhere else. And I don't think he's done. Like I don't think he's even close to being done. I feel like he's got at least one more year, and he wants to play. I see it in him. What do you think about that? Do you even think that's considerable? Do you think
it's
he's
plausible.
going back?
It's definitely plausible. This is a guy.
I mean-
If we're taking a look at him, I think. In the honest sense, it would be best for him to go to a team with a DH. But I think you were completely spot on, Ace, when you said that he's taking the rest so he can get those weary knees going, those legs back into proper strength, so that he can go back and that he can actually play first base or maybe even do a spell at third base. And I think for the Mets, he'd be a great clubhouse presence. Like I'm talking about, like he
Amazing.
and Bartolo Colon together.
Really
they would
great.
be teaching every one of these young kids. Bar would be sitting down with the pitchers and
It'd be
like, all right,
Spanish
let me
lessons
look at
for
this.
the white guys in the
Exactly,
clubhouse.
dude.
Seriously.
See, you're thinking everything here, man. You're not just thinking one. Man, blowing me away, man.
This is why I'm
This
the
is
host of the
beautiful.
show.
This is beautiful,
okay,
man.
This is why.
beautiful.
It's why we call it Ace at the Plate, because I remember this stuff, and I really just feel like, man, A-Rod would be like awesome to just have. Like,
Yeah, no, the personality alone, and it also fits in with the whole entire new Mets style of hitting, where it's like they aren't exactly really pro on base percentage, but it's more of like, let's swing and win the game with one swing of the bat each time. And I think that he'll be one big part to that. It's really interesting. I haven't thought about it. I've been really thinking about like the big marquee names like Miguel Cabrera and stuff like that.
The numbers, right? Because I've said he's off. He's only a few runs off of 700.
Yeah, he's at 696, is it?
So, yeah, he's 4 home runs off.
Mm.
So, and I don't think he's ruling out the possibility of suiting up somewhere to get those 4. Even if he wants to play past the 4, I just think he should get 4.
And he still has like a little bit of himself, like a little narcissism underneath there
he
that
could
he
do
wants
it.
to get up there. He wants to be in the annals of history. He already is, but he really wants to be breaking that barrier right there.
And I like this. Ready? this is from a while ago, but this is a quote from Alex Rodriguez about it. I want to put all this talk to rest about this is his agent, I'm sorry. About Alex playing for any team this season. It's not happening. See how he put the emphasis on this season? I don't think it's done. And now, if he was really done, it would be like, this is it. Like, this is it. He would say, I'm retiring from baseball. If this was it, he would say. I mean, that's what players say. And he's
like Teixeira on his own team.
He's been dodging questions about it. And, well, he was when it was happening. He's like, we'll worry about it when we worry about it. He's not done. He's going to play. So, with the Mets, think about it. When you're talking about the coupons, I mean,
the coupons.
He's cheap. I mean, he's not going to be asking.
I can't believe I haven't heard that actually before. The coupons. That's brilliant,
coupons.
man.
But listen, he's going to be cheap because he's getting paid from the Yankees. The Yankees are still paying him, and this is just like Jose Reyes. He's getting paid his big money contract from Colorado, so he's like, I'll play for anything. I'll play for a league minimum. I'm already getting paid.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a no-brainer almost. And plus, listen, you should have seen, like, I remember watching, like, his interview. Oh, man, I'm going to miss driving over the Harlem Bridge or something like that. It was like one of those bridges, like, man, I driving through Harlem, man, it's my home and stuff. And I'm like, yo, you don't gotta go yet.
Yeah,
you know, you don't gotta go yet.
Stay around, don't pack up your bags, buddy.
Don't go yet, buddy, because the Mets might use you. And I love how you talked about we were texting, and I was texting people and stuff about this. Miguel Cabrera, I know that contract is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm down.
I mean, if you can't get Cespedes back.
How about Dexter Fowler? I don't like it. No, I don't like him.
Wait, Dexter Fowler's come up as a name, really? Huh.
Not as not like there's been talks or anything. It's just
an idea.
An
idea.
I mean,
we were talking about last postseason, during the postseason last year.
Here's the thing, though. He doesn't hit righties. That's the problem. He's just like Juan Lagares, and if we already have Juan Lagares, So if you don't hit righties, I don't want you. Get out of here. Plus, listen. I just don't know. We have so many guys in the name. That's why I want this World Series to end, because I want the rumors to start. There's like a little bit of a break. This is how it works. There's like a little bit of a break after the World Series ends, and then it's going to heat up. Like, it's going to start to heat up. And it was so weird because I don't know if you remember last offseason, man, guys were getting signed like to the wire. I mean, there were guys that were left like unsigned until like a day before spring training. I mean, ridiculous. I mean, I don't know if it's because of the qualifying offers doing this, but man, to give you an example, how was Cespedes not signed until like the end? He was one of the last people signed. He wasn't signed in January.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
this is a guy who carried the Mets in 15. Now, again, was it because of those concerns? Was he asking for too much? Was it this? Again, the same thing. The same thing as last year. They're expecting him 5 years, $100 and something million. And the main concern last year, I remember reading it, was no one wants to give him 5 years.
Yeah. But now?
Well, now here's the thing, though. Another year went by. So you're going to give him 5 years? I don't know how old he would have been then. He would have been 40 now.
But you have to look at the market.
I want him to be there now. And I know that.
But it's like the economics of it, because like last year when you have the demand, the supply was really up there. So people are willing to go a little bit lower on their demand side. But now, with the supply being as meager and meek as it is right now, I got to say, the demand for Yo is going to be through the roof.
It's going to be
that
huge.
People are going to have to overpay the crap out of him.
Yeah, man.
And maybe last year, the qualifying offer actually is a really good point. But I'm wondering if it's also because there's this new shift that has never been done before where you give the player options, the opt-out clauses after a year, 2, or even 3. Like Jason Hayward even got one, and by the looks of it, I think he's not going to opt out. That's also a good win for you, Ace, is that knowing that the Cubs are saddled with that for 7 more years.
That's a ridiculous contract. Listen, listen, don't forget that we have Jay Bruce that we could offer as a trade piece. And I know he might have a good year, and the Mets are doing the worst thing, man. They're tendering Duda. I don't even think that's a good idea, but they are. I don't like Duda.
Wait, they're tendering him? I thought the idea was that it was going to be like $4 to $5 million. Like,
No,
we can have A-Rod, who's basically the same thing for about $1 million.
Tendering means they're signing him the contract, right? Yeah, they're tendering him. So, that's unfortunate. I don't like Duda at all. I don't like him as a player. I mean, in fact, like watching baseball these years, Duda's like my least favorite type of baseball player. He's not fast. He does hit a lot of home runs,
but it's in like every other fucking
It's in like
month.
a week. It's in like a week. He'll hit he'll have a good 2 to 3 weeks, and he'll be silent. I'm never gonna forget in 2015. It was the guy was swinging at balls that were at his ankles. I mean, this guy is not Like, I don't like this guy. I don't like this guy. Okay, I'd see him in the bar. I'm like, I'd see him in the bar, and I go, all right, yeah, maybe if you didn't swing at the bottom, I'm not afraid. Maybe if you didn't swing at the ball that's coming at your freaking shins, you'd be able to work some counts. Because when you're down 0-2 in a count, the pitcher's working you.
Yeah,
He's playing
if you could do a
boy.
fight with him, I wouldn't be afraid because that swing's going to miss.
Literally. I mean, honestly, and again, Neil Walker set to be a free agent. I don't know what the market around him is going to be.
That's going to be a strange market. Like, it's like him and also with Wilson Ramos. It's just like it can go anywhere. But speaking of Wilson Ramos, I was wondering if you got any tidbits about some catcher news or any ideas that you're thinking about what the Mets should be doing.
Well, that's the thing, because there was already rumors. Again, this is rumor mill. When we say rumors, definitely don't take it as face value. This might not have happened, but because that's happened before, where I've confused it for this is a rumor. This could be legit.
Well, they could also be actually talking, but they reveal that.
And then it could be this. It could be just that. Yeah, exactly what you were saying. Put out a fake story to get some stuff going. Brian McCann for Zach Wheeler. Are the Yankees on crack? I mean, give me a break. I know Zach Wheeler hasn't proved anything in about a decade, but Brian McCann, I mean, can you pull up his numbers? I mean, what did he hit last year? It must have
last
been
year
atrocious.
Last year was not good, actually. Brian McCann's...
How old is this guy? What has he got, a cane? What's he...
Brian McCann, actually, I think he's 34,
seriously,
33?
You ever seen those commercials about AARP? I think it's time for him to sign up. The dude is done, man. I mean, this is what they say. Again, he was on the Braves once. Great guy, I guess, all-star on the Braves, whatever.
Yeah, but here he's a big douche.
I don't even know.
He is. He's that one guy who's against all celebrations. Every single game that you've seen it. I remember Yoenis. Remember when Yoenis, he did a bat flip and he, complained to the whole entire league about it?
Yeah.
He's one of those old school type of guys that's are you kidding me? It's just
where's
what?
Bryce Harper when you need him? Oh, he's home because he's not in the playoffs. He's not in the World Series.
Can someone please get the number to the burn ward because he just got scorched by you.
But seriously, again, I don't know. I don't like this at all because I even though Zach Wheeler, even if he isn't 1/10 of what he is, Brian McCann.
He's been hitting. He's hit 232 in 2014, 2015, 242 in 2016. His home runs have been above. He's hit above 20 home runs for the past 10 years.
Playing
8
in
years.
Yankee Stadium.
And Yankee Stadium will inflate all those numbers.
And what about the on base?
Oh, on base percentage is not looking good.
No,
335,
no.
320
No,
recently.
done,
It's just
done,
that's
no.
what the Mets were doing when we were in the most atrocious stage of the season.
For me, I'm not even looking at home runs. I'm looking at on base percentage. I think that's the most. That was the problem with the Mets this year.
Yes, exactly.
Getting on base.
Exactly.
And no one thinks
We just
about
move
this,
station to station, move the base runners. Instead, Sandy's for some reason constructed a whole entire lineup where it's good to go.
But we got about 7 seconds until break, and I forgot to put the commercials on. So I mean, we do have commercials, but prepare for the same ones. All right, just get ready for that.
Keep calm. You may already have high blood pressure. Relax and find out with the free blood pressure screening available the second Wednesday of every month at 12 noon in the Westbury Memorial Public Library. For more info, call 516-333-0176 or visit westburylibrary.org. The Community Calendar is a public service from your friends at 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
Youth is a gift of nature, but age is a work of art. Learn to appreciate life after retirement through the arts and entertainment on Senior Moments. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 right here on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
Looking for some informal stress relief and a relaxing way to get to know your neighbors? Try adult coloring. It's like coloring for kids, but harder to stay in the lines. It's on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. in the Port Washington Public Library. For more info, call 516-883-4400 or visit pwpl.org. The Community Calendar is a public service from your friends at 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
You're listening to Ace at the Plate on WCWPSports.org.
And again, speaking about catchers, and we talked about it last week, but seriously, I don't even know. I mean, Brian McCann might even be better than Darno at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how
pathetic.
bad how Darno is. That's how bad Darno is. And it's so funny because a year ago at this time, I'm thinking, You know what I said last year? I mean, I wasn't speaking to you at this time,
Mhm.
but I was saying if Darno stays healthy all year, he will be an all-star. That's what I said. And believe it or not, that's
Really?
what I said. I had the highest hopes for this kid. And believe it or not, I really, really thought this kid was going to be an all-star this
Oh,
year.
it seemed like everyone in baseball thought he was the real deal. I mean,
I
he's been
thought-
traded to first two young Cy Young
I mean,
pitchers, Roy
this guy
Halladay
is
and
like
Ari
the
Dickey.
headline of like trades for starting pitch. It's not just that. I saw in his bat last year. That last year when he came back,
Oh, yeah.
great run, right? I mean, it's not like he can't do this stuff, but man, it's just been not working out. It's just not been working out. And I love this headline. I'm just, because I love looking at the headlines. And it's funny because this one from CBS New York, Mets must willingly pay to bring back Cespedes or else.
Or else.
Yeah, or else. I'll tell you what's going to happen. They call it City Field. I'm going to call it Empty Field, bro. Because no one, and I mean no one, is freaking going.
Well, it's going to be shitty field then after that.
No
once they
one.
start doing
I'm
that.
telling you, they have a bad April. Deserted. Yankee Stadium will be more popular.
Dude,
and
Yankees
it should
was
be.
pathetic
And
last year.
it should be, though. You want to know why? Because those young guys are going to start to bring back some excitement back on there. They're going to, you know what they're going to be? I'm not even counting the Yankees out for the postseason next year. That's how crazy. All right? And call me crazy. Call me a Cubs hater, which I am. But listen, man, the Yankees have those young guys that could come up. I mean, they could be the new Cubs, to be honest. They could be the Cubs. I mean, they have the best farm system in baseball. What do the Yankees have to lose to bring some of these guys up, start them out? As the old guys go, the young guys are going to come up. And Gary Sanchez already basically taking Brian McCann's spot. They're shopping him aggressively.
Yeah.
They're going to want Brian McCann gone. And yeah, I don't blame him. I mean, he's terrible, but Gary Sanchez is going to be their guy. And there's going to be more.
Gary.
There is no other, there's going to be more people like Gary Sanchez in that farm systems. There's bound to be another star in there. I know it.
Yeah.
So they are actually a wild card team, in my opinion. Like, possible. Like,
Oh, the Yanks?
Yeah.
Yeah, as they saw during that stretch down at the end of the season, they definitely have the potential to be doing
They
it.
have
I think they're just one solid starter away from being able to get back there.
I mean, the problem is, right, they don't have a good pitching staff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the issue.
And Tanaka's elbows being held by a thread, so you never know what's going to be happening there. I mean, what other catching options do we have? I mean, we've got Wilson Ramos maybe, but that's going to be paying up the ass. And that guy already has bum knees, two surgeries, major surgeries on the same knee for a catcher. That worries me. That really worries me.
It's troubling, with the Mets situation with Wilson Ramos might be the guy, but he might also just be a classic case of, Ryan Howard. Makes me think of Ryan Howard because he had the same injury, and he was never the same after one of those seasons. So
I mean, other names to consider out there. I mean, we've got Matt Wieters, who we know we're not high on. I mean, these names just suck.
We talked about him. You know what? And this is serious. Baseball is like dealing with a lack of talent in the form of bats. I mean, there are good hitters, but at least in the free agency, it is dead.
Oh, it's dead out there.
Barren. I mean, these guys are trash, garbage, literally. I mean, just bad. Just there's no way to put it. No one could get on base anymore.
Yeah, it's not like also that these guys have phenomenal framing skills like a Rene Rivera or even Darno. His defensive abilities are still pretty damn good, really good. But the rest of these names that we hear out there, God, what are we supposed to be working with out here?
It's actually, it's not. It's how do I put this? It's like deflating.
Yeah, it really is.
It's like, oh yeah, the off season, right? Yeah, maybe we get a new name. It's like.
Nope.
Who's out there?
Nope. We need to fail for the first couple of months, maybe tread some water, and then maybe San Diego will get a deal done around trade deadline time.
The window, believe it or not, man, the window is closing, and it's closing fast. I remember I was talking with somebody. Maybe it wasn't you, because I was before you were on the show consistently, I would just have people. They're like, the Mets window's 2 to 3 years. Dude. That's a little generous at this point. I know it. I'm not saying it can't be that, but what does the things that 1 year could do to a franchise's outlook? Every pitcher of the Mets has a problem now with their arm. Every single one has now. I mean, wow. I mean, pitchers.
Except for the 44-year-old guy.
Yeah, except- out of all things, which is, I mean, look, that's great. I'm happy he's healthy, but wow, DeGrom, Syndergaard at bone spurs, which he's not getting surgery on for some
which
reason.
is weird. Yeah, we've got
This
the
is
downtime.
a disaster waiting to happen. This, mark my words right now, right on the calendar. Remember I said August 23rd? This is the new August 23rd. Syndergaard is going to have the bone spur acting up on him at some point. Like, why don't you get the surgery?
Yeah, that's actually very true. Why not?
This
If it's
is
supposed to
it.
be a minor procedure, too.
Yeah, and people want to talk about, the Mets have the pitching. The Mets have the pitching. All right. Well, Syndergaard's going to get hurt. Our ace is going to get hurt. You're going to have Matt Harvey. Listen, like I said 2 years ago, I said it. People call me. I texted my dad. He laughed at me. I texted it. I said, people will call me a lunatic on Mets blog. They go, you're crazy. Matt Harvey for Mookie Betts straight up, I would have done it. Just saying, I would have done it. And you know what? Mets would have had a championship. All right?
And a freaking amazing center field.
All right.
It'd be World Series.
I would have traded for Mookie Betts like 2 years ago for Matt Harvey straight up. I would throw in the Garrison there. I would just throw them both in. I go, take them. And people will go, oh, yo, what's happening? The Mets, they can't afford it. But then what would have happened, right? You know what would have happened? Harvey would have had his terrible year. And what? Lagares, who cares, right?
Yeah,
who cares? And would have Mookie Betts. And even if he didn't do that good, I don't know what his 2015 was like. But if imagine he had the numbers on the Mets like he did now. I mean,
Crap. I mean,
give me a
I
break.
can't imagine because the Mets will never have something like that.
It's
Ever.
Even Cespedes, and maybe this is like me being greedy, but even Cespedes couldn't hit 300 in New York. I mean, no one can hit 300 in New York. I mean, well, with the Mets, I mean, you could do it with the Yankees, but with the Mets, no, you can't do it. So, man, it's just I'm hoping for this. This is my status. All right, the World Series just needs to frickin' end. Because then we'll know some more things, As the offseason gets going, I'm excited. By the way, did Ben Zobrist, how is he doing? Like his year? He had a
year's
good
been
year,
pretty,
right?
I mean, well, during the regular season, it was kind of like, man,
Do you
it
know
was
how
above
against
average.
I was of getting Zobrist? I'm so glad he signed with Chicago. And I guarantee you, next year, if he has a good year, it will be his last year. He will have a terrible year. He got a very inflated. It's 4 years, $60 million. I think it's inflated. Completely.
$16 million per year, right? Or is it 12?
It's either $60 million or it's $80
It's 4 years for $56 million.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's inflated for Ben Zobrist, who's 34
Yeah, exactly.
years old.
At 35 years right now, 35 right now.
The Mets offer. Get this, okay?
Mhm.
The Mets offer was higher than that.
Really?
Sit the frick down, bro. Because
And we wouldn't dish that money out for Murph.
yeah, sit down, fathom that. I don't know what it is. Like, we don't really know the Wilpons' finances. Like, we really don't
Yeah,
know
the transparency would be nice. I mean, think about
But
it.
if they're broke, it's unfair. But, like, here's the thing, right? They're doing these monthly payments. Like, they're doing these, not monthly payments, but, like, these yearly installments for the Madoff thing. And, they're a bunch of guilty schmucks because I read up about them, man. They've been involved in Ponzi schemes before. I mean, how are these guys not in jail? I think it's just ridiculous. But anyway, as long as they're our owners, I don't see any hope. In fact, I see the whole franchise being sold because I don't think like the Wilpons are going to actually be able to live in this town when they let go all of our pitchers and we don't sign anyone. Because I don't think they even have.
And we have Bartolo
So
at 50.
either they
that's it.
don't. So either they don't have the money, or I don't know. Like, is it the money? Because listen, I get it, right? It's smart. You don't want to be spending money like the Dodgers, right? You don't want to be on that end, but you don't want to be at the end where we're just not going to spend. The goal is not to spend any freaking cash.
Yeah, where you're the Tampa Bay Rays.
Like, it's sad because this is a big market team. Okay, the Mets. When the Mets were winning, we were selling out City every night.
Yeah.
I remember it.
And you
like
see
it was
fans
yesterday.
all around the city, everywhere,
Yeah.
wearing Mets gear.
I mean, when the Mets were winning, I'm not even going to lie, I saw baseball on. I saw people watching it. I saw the city excited for it. And, boy, I remember I watched Turn On SNY every night. And these were just regular season games. But when they were in first, every night, sold out. When it was clear that we were going to win the division everyone just wanted to go see a piece. Like, everyone. And we were, I mean, I remember every stadium was like home field advantage. I remember we went to Tampa Bay once. I mean, there were more Mets fans. Like, I know that's Tampa Bay, but geez, man. I mean, boy, you know, it's not like the fans aren't doing their part, is what I'm trying to say. The fans are buying tickets. There's a market here, giant market. They're making money, right? Or they're making more money than they did, because how much is this going to Bobby Bonilla? How much of this is going to the Madoff victims? And it's like $162 million in total for the. It's not a month or something. That's the whole thing that they have to pay, and they're gonna be paying that for like the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
So
that's Bobby Bonilla too. Don't forget
unless like, because of the lack of transparency, we have to speculate. Maybe it's not that bad. Maybe they're actually making a profit and they're just cheap.
And that's why they're being cheap, is that they're making a great profit right now by keeping the prices down.
So it's
but
one of the two. They're either broke, or it's just either way. This is not how you run a franchise. I mean, here's the thing, right? I remember, I'm never going to forget, I listened to Joe and Evan, great guys on the radio, WFAN, and, you know, they had Rob Manfred on, and guess what they asked? This was before the Mets were going to be in the World Series, obviously, but they were like, what are you going to do about the Wilpons? And he just dodged the question, because the Mets fans don't like, I don't think Rob Manfred realized, he talks about being a business and all this stuff. You know what's not good for business? Letting your broke or cheap owners, like, sabotage the product. I mean, I'm sure MLB made a huge profit of the Mets selling out every day. Some MLB got a cut of that. So, I mean, wouldn't it make sense? They did, and here's the thing. They go, we don't have the authority. Frank McCourt of the Dodgers was the only one who really got sort of like uprooted by the MLB. And it was because he was running the franchise improperly or something. I'm not saying that all the franchises need to pour money, but, I mean, if you can't financially run a franchise, you have no business owning one. So, you know, I just... it's come to the point where I think a real problem is the lack of transparency and the fact that they've really just shown that they don't really have a commitment to winning. They're sort of just hoping that they win with these pitchers and then they're gone. Because, again, if the Mets, think about it, Mets are not considering, like, any of these 30-year-olds, like Cespedes, big money. I mean, like, Noah Syndergaard's going to be more expensive than that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think we have a goat's chance in hell to keep Syndergaard if that's going to be your... I mean, I don't think... We'll see. Like, the time will come. I'm telling you this, though. If Syndergaard and DeGrom are just walking out of here without any New York, like, money type thing, like, we don't keep, like, one or two of these guys, I don't think the franchise will survive. I'll say it will be the death of the Mets franchise.
This is the death now.
I'll just say people won't even watch. I'll say, because if we can't get one of those guys, I mean, what's the point? What's the point? I've been a Mets fan all my life, but I mean, I'm just saying, I expect at least one of those studs, absolute studs, to be a Met for life. You can't, and then this is years to come, right? Or maybe not. And that's why I say, listen, we're definitely not going to be able to keep all of them. That's billions of dollars.
We've got like 3-4 years to start locking these kids up for extensions.
But again, here are the guys I would keep, and tell me if you agree. Syndergaard, top priority. DeGrom and Matz, the rest, expendable. Now, I'm not saying... I think Syndergaard's the must.
Oh, yeah.
There's not a chance in hell.
His youth, his power, his prodigious ability to pitch right now.
He's already been on Cartoon Network doing kid shows.
It's ridiculous. And he's 23 years old. He's
and
23.
He loves New York. He loves New York.
And he's soaking it in, but he's not too proud and not too narcissistic at all.
He's not the Matt Harvey we always wanted.
He's not Harvey.
Yeah, I don't like Harvey, okay?
Oh, yeah, he thinks he's the Dark Knight. He's our knight in shining armor.
I despise Matt Harvey, and I would love to trade this guy. You know what? The thing is, we can't do it this year because now his stock is low.
It's crushed, dude. It's
I
negative stock.
I would have traded him, though. Well, here's the thing. Like 2015, I get it, but man, if he has a good year this year, he's got to go. He's got to get traded. By the way, Andrew McCutchen, what do you think? I know we only got about like 6 minutes left, but Andrew McCutchen,
Kutch, man, he's been regressing a lot for these past
I know,
couple
but
years.
I think maybe a change of scenery it's another
No,
classic
they've
case.
locked him up, and he's like one of those
But
stalwarts of the
he's
community
on the
of
market,
Pittsburgh.
Though. He's on the market.
I mean, they're willing to offer him up.
Yeah, they're gonna be trading him. He's
Really?
available.
I just find that shocking. Well, I mean, not too shocking. I mean, they also have like Josh Harrison, Starling
Pirates have
Marte.
said it. Pirates
but-
are like
But I
He's
feel like he's
open.
the face of the franchise. That's the one thing is that they never want to
Troy
forget him.
Tulowitzki, Colorado Rockies, face of the franchise.
Touche.
Gone. Okay.
But then they also had like Carlos Gonzalez. I'm just trying to think of like who their number 2 would be. I mean, Garrett Cole in their starting rotation.
He's gone. He's gonna be gone.
Man, I mean,
They're gone. They're done.
The Pirates, I guess, the Pirates-
That just shows you their window. That
Yeah.
just shows you how quick an MLB team's window goes. That's why we can't be taking this Mets thing for granted. That's why you heard it here first, folks. If we don't have a good offseason, 75 games if we're lucky. All right? I mean, the Phillies will sweep us in the season series. Bad series. Because if we don't care, and I said it on Facebook, one of the top-rated posts on like all these popular MLB memes I wrote it on, people agreeing with me, okay? I'm the voice of the people right now. I'm telling you, I don't care. They could all pitch like Sandy Koufax, right? Amazing. But if we can't get a single run on the board, it's literally impossible to win a game. And that's the problem. Oh, my gosh. I mean, this season was terrible with runners in scoring position. Criminal. It was criminal to watch. It was honestly, it was almost unfun to watch because you knew it. You knew it was happening. Someone's on first. Oh, my gosh, someone actually got the first. And then they find a way to blow it. If someone on second, no outs. There was a time someone on third, no outs.
Yeah.
Okay? Doesn't matter. The team's not getting them in. And if that's happening, that's not a postseason team, period. Because you can't win a game without scoring a run.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hey,
it's never happened.
The Royals proved it to us last year, man.
it's never happened. So, and it's happening to the Cubs right now. All right? And good
Well,
for them.
we'll see. But
Well-
speaking of Cubs, though, I got to say, all right, we've got 2 more games left potentially in the World Series.
No, there's one more game.
One game?
There's one game
All right.
left. Tomorrow
the Ace
night,
prediction, our prophet Ace,
It's over.
is going to be showing
It's
us
over.
the future here,
I'm doubling
folks.
down on my prediction. It's over. And you know what it's going to happen? Again, and maybe this is just me. Like, maybe I'm just a nut job. But, man, you know how, like, when, like, okay, you know when, like, the Royals were, like, the division champs like, in 2014 and they come in? Man, is it just me or did the Mets not get any of that love?
No.
They didn't get that love that the Royals did. Royals, every game the Royals were in, National League champions, the Royals. Here we go, right? Mets did not get that love at all, and you know the Cubs are going to get that love.
Oh, the
They're
Cubs are going to get that
they're gonna be
respect
like,
beyond belief.
Oh, the
It's
National
the
League
respect.
champions. Oh, if only maybe this year, maybe. You know, I'm serious. You're going to hear, like, Joe Buck's going to, Joe Buck is literally gonna be like, oh my gosh, it's the Cubs opening day, National League champions. Literally, that's going to be him.
But they still got second. They don't give you a trophy for getting second in the World Series.
Well, they
all
give
right?
you this, all right?
They give,
They give you this National League championship ring. So you know what? I'm down. You know, listen, I'm happy at least. Hey, at least they got this. All right. At least they got the championship ring. And hey, the Cubs have that. Congratulations.
I don't know, dude. They still got a shot.
No,
they got
no,
a shot.
no
They got
shot.
Jake
No
Arrieta
shot.
coming up
No
tonight,
shot.
and they've
Where's my college loans? Okay, I'll double them. I'll double.
Double-
them.
double down.
I'll double. I'll double my interest rate that I got to pay him back. If the Cubs win, that is how sure it's over. Cursed Billy Sanis. Okay, you know what he said? Cubs ain't gonna win no more. Okay, you wanna know why? They kicked out his smelly goat in 1945, I think. Well, 48. No, it was 45. They were playing the Detroit Tigers, and guess what? The smelly, stinky goat, that beautiful creature, came into Wrigley with him. The fans complained about the stench of that goat, and he was kicked out. He, on his way out, the rumblings, the mumbles, he was like, "Cubs ain't gonna win no more until you respect my goat." And guess what? They never respected it. And you know what? And you know what he said? In an interview, he was quoted, "They won't win until not only do the Cubs like respect the GOAT or whatever, but they have to mean it. They can't.
Oh yeah, it can't be some fake
he
respect.
Said,
If they gotta mean it.
He said it. He said it can't be for this publicity. Like we're gonna break the curse. He said from the bottom of their hearts they will have to respect GOATs, and I don't believe the Cubs do.
But will fear make respect? Because fear of the GOAT right now.
I love that GOAT. I love that GOAT. The GOAT's my favorite animal. I mean, I love that GOAT. And have you ever tried it? It's amazing. I mean, seriously, have you ever tried it? No, right?
No.
You know, it's amazing. You know, having a Caribbean girlfriend, like that's what they have. They don't like. I mean, yeah, they have cows and chickens, but they eat the GOAT.
All
I
right.
mean, it's good.
You hear it first here, people. Eat the GOAT, all right? The curse
goat.
is still well and alive.
So listen, you know, we got we got like 30 seconds. So, but your prediction is what? Cubs in Game 7? That's your prediction,
No,
really?
I'm going to say full-on heartbreak Indians in Game 7, where it's going to be a 3-2
Oh,
win
man.
or
I'm gonna have
4-3
that.
win.
I'm gonna play that for the
Game
rest of my life.
7,
I'm gonna wake up to
destroy
that.
them.
I'm gonna wake up to Joe Buck saying that the Indians are the world champions just for some reason.
Oh,
Yeah, it's definitely
it'll be
not.
a thing of
It's not
beauty.
gonna even happen. The Cubs are that bad. We'll see you next week. All right, that's
Take it
how I
easy,
want it.
guys.
We'll see you next week.
And we'll be celebrating dancing on the graves of the Cubs.
All right, see you next week. Oh, gotta play my fucking commercial. It's not gonna play, right? No, not gonna play.
WCWP is your home for great music and great conversation. You'll find all that and more on WCWP.org. Listen live on the web, check out the lineup, read our blogs, and get in touch with us. Sign up for our newsletter and stay up to date on our latest events. And find out how you can get involved at the only community public radio station serving Nassau's North Shore. It's all online at WCWP.org.